Hey, what's up guys? Aaron Taylor out here with Tactical Hyve. Today we're gonna go over something that I like to do every single time I come to a range. You get one chance to do it, one chance only at every range you go to, and that is a cold bore shot or cold bore drill. And there's any number of different drills that you can do depending on what it is that you're training for, what you're wanting to work on, what skills that you're trying to enhance that day, whatever your goals are that you've already predetermined before you get to the range that you want to work on. So shooting cold bore, that's how it's gonna be in the real world. Physiologically, you're not primed and you're not ready because you're not on a flat range shooting multiple rounds and you're already warmed up mentally, psychologically, ready to go. Whether it's military, law enforcement, civilian. Now, military applications are a little bit different because you're going into something ready to do it, but as a law enforcement or as a civilian, you're not ready for that. And something, in the real world happens and you have to be ready to attack right then when that happens, and that is called cold bore, and that is real world. That happens in reality. Anyone that's ever had to pull their weapon or their whatever firearm that it is, law enforcement, civilian, they've all had to shoot cold bore. So that's why we do these, but obviously after you shoot, the first time you shoot on the range, you're not cold bore anymore. So you get one chance to do it. So today we're gonna do a cold bore drill that I particularly like. It's one of my favorites, and the reason being is because it actually culminates a few different skills all together, all at the same time. Hey guys, welcome back. So for this drill, what I like to do is I like to have two targets set up. You could do one if you want. Some guys I've seen will draw like red boxes, or they'll make two paper targets, or two targets on the same, whatever it is, but I prefer having two completely separate silhouette targets. Today we have them here, they're about 2 or 3 feet apart. Basically, you want these two silhouette targets to be far enough apart to where you have enough distance for your eyes and your body to make an actual adjustment and to reacquire new sights on a new target. If they're right next to each other, that's not much of a change. You need to have at least 3 to like 6, 7 feet between your two targets. What we're gonna do is cold bore you can either do this compressed ready, or if you have a belt rig, or if you're concealed carry, however you have your setup, you can do it from the draw. I prefer to do it from the draw. That way you're also working on a draw, like make it as much about the real, like a real world scenario as you possibly can. And you don't walk around in your real world compressed ready, right? If you're concealed carry, it's in your, your appendix, 5 o'clock, 3 o'clock, whatever it is, or if it's in your belt, if you're law enforcement. So, fight that way, right? So you're gonna pull from the holster, shoot your 5 rounds to the first target. You're gonna then have a mag change, and then shoot 5 more rounds after you acquire on the second target, shoot 5 more rounds at cadence. What that does is it's giving you a mag change. You're getting 2 sets of cadence shots, 5 rounds in each target, and then you're also switching, and your eyes and your body and your movement is having to reacquire new sights and a new target for that second string of a 5 cadence shot. And guys, there's actually 2 variations to this. The way that I just explained it is actually standing still. If you're new at this and this is your first time doing it, maybe try it standing still. When you get a little bit more confident and a little bit more comfortable, you've done this 3 or 4 times on 3 or 4 different range visits, and now you're feeling good about it. On your next range visit and your next cold bore drill that you do, and you decide to do this drill, you can try it moving. The only thing that would change is from your draw, whenever you're ready, or at the beep, or when your buddy says go, or whenever it is, as soon as you draw, you can start moving towards your target, 5 rounds, do a mag change, reacquire sights, 5 more rounds at cadence, all while on the move. So that's 2 different variations you can do, moving versus standing still. Both are good. Again, in the real world, you're gonna be in either one of those 2 situations. All right guys, so now we're gonna go live, eyes, ears, and we're gonna run this drill, and you get to watch me do it. And then after that, if there's any pointers that kind of come to mind while I'm running through it, last minute stuff, we'll wrap it up at the end, and then I can kind of talk through that. All right guys, we got the range set up. We got our 2 targets. They're about 5 feet apart. I'm about 10 yards away, 7 to 10 yards away from both targets. I'm gonna walk through it with you. So from here, I'm gonna go through the standing still version of it first. So compressed ready, if you want to start it compressed ready, you could try that, but I would say try it from the draw. So at the go, you're going to draw your pistol, right? Acquired targets on your first target. 5 rounds in cadence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have a mag change. Reacquire the new targets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Holster. That's it. All right, guys. So side note for this, when you're setting up your mags for this drill, what you're going to want to have is just one fully loaded mag in your belt or kit, however you have it set up. And in the pistol, you're going to have, when the pistol's clean, you're going to have 5 rounds and 1 mag. So when you load that mag and then you rack it, you'll have 1 in the chamber and you're going to have 4 rounds in your mag so that you're set up for 5. So on that first draw and fire, your slide will actually rack whenever you hit your 5th shot, right? You only have 5 rounds in your mag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It'll rack, do a mag change to your fresh, fully loaded mag in your belt kit, mag change, and then 5 more. And then obviously, if you're gonna do this a second, third time, multiple times, then just keep switching that around. But 5 rounds in 1 mag, and then a second fully loaded mag for this drill. All right, guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and perform the stationary version, and then we'll move on to the shooting and moving one. All right, guys, so that was the stationary version of this. Now we're gonna do the shooting and moving version of this. This is the second version of this that I particularly preferred this one, the moving one, because then you get to add in an actual movement, which again, in the real world, in a real world scenario, this is probably, you're not gonna be standing still. You're probably gonna be moving. And it just makes it that much more challenging. And there's one more aspect in that cold bore that you get to practice and try. So again, I'll walk through this and then I will perform it live. So to walk through, again, you're standing still, find about, I'd say probably 15 to maybe 20, about 15 yards. That way you have enough time, enough distance to shoot your 5, do a mag change, and then shoot your 5 again. So from about 15 yards back, you're gonna, on the go, pull your pistol, start walking, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do a mag change while still moving. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When you get to that 5th shot, you can compress, holster, and that's the end of the drill. All right, guys, so that's both iterations of this drill, this cold bore drill that I prefer to do. There are many different drills you can do. Literally, you can take any drill that you like and make it cold bore. But just try to think and try to use your brain with, like, if you were in a real world scenario, whether you were a civilian or whether you're military law enforcement and you were on an op for military or in your patrol car as a law enforcement officer or a civilian walking with your family, and you're cold bore in that scenario, try to set your drill up in the scenario that you would think that you would find yourself in an instance like that you would need to be walking, moving, pulling from either conceal holster or a belt if you're law enforcement. Take your shots, multiple string of shots, right? Cadence, 1, 2, 3, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Cadence needs to be either fast or slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fast or slow, doesn't matter, depending on your situation. But either way, a good cadence is what's gonna have a good shot group. And then obviously doing a mag change. You wouldn't mag change after 5 rounds unless you had that small of a mag, but it's to simulate you firing a full mag change, reacquiring new sights on a new threat, on a new target, and then a good string of cadence shots again a second time. So that's all I got for this drill, guys. Hope you guys liked it. Hope you guys took some value from it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you again next time. Thank you.